Welcome back. President Trump turning up the pressure on Capitol Hill on the eve of confirmation hearings for Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, using a Truth Social post to praise him as a great lawyer, always very fair, and urging every Republican senator to confirm Todd Blanche ASAP. Blanche, the president's former personal attorney in multiple criminal cases and now running the Justice Department in an acting role, facing his confirmation hearing Wednesday, with Republicans holding just an 11-10 edge on the Judiciary Committee after the death of Lindsey Graham, and every single GOP vote needed to advance his nomination. The stakes are high. Tomorrow's hearing testing whether skeptical Senate Republicans, already bristling at Blanche's record, are willing to hand the acting AG the Justice Department permanently. Joining us now with more, Kyle Campbell, veteran political strategist and commentator and host of the Politically Basic podcast. Kyle, thank you so much for joining us. Always great to see you. Now, do you think he has enough support from Republicans to get confirmed?
Well, I sure hope so. Tiffany, great to be with you. And this is an interesting one. Todd Blanche is in a precarious situation. He is coming in on the heels of a pretty controversial AG post taken up by Pam Bondi. And of course, the theme really of her time as AG ended up being, she set some high expectations and then unfortunately under delivered, especially when it came to Epstein files. So I think Todd Blanche is trying to really walk carefully down this kind of narrow path. He's about to be confirmed, and I do think people expect that that will happen. GOP has not exactly necessarily been the strongest that it's been in its history. And here we have this sort of anti-weaponization fund drama, nipping at his heels as he's about to go through this process. So we do anticipate that he's going to move forward, but he's going to have to keep his nose clean here. And he wants to sort of slough off any of these more dramatic rulings, decisions, sanctions, and the like that are trying to tank this confirmation process. So he's got another day to go, and he's just trying to make sure he can make it through unscathed.
And in your view, what exactly does he need to do to lock in those votes?
I think he's been doing an excellent job. He's sticking to the issues. He's no dummy, right? He's been in this game for a while and he can see the hits coming, right? And he knows how to bob and weave and dodge them. So I'm not worried about his ability to essentially handle any of the questions, to play this game well. He knows where the gotchas are coming from. And as we saw with how he did handle the takedown sort of this IRS lawsuit and the anti-weaponization fund being paused, he really took these political leaders sort of very easily, very handily down as they were trying to sidetrack him. So he's a veteran. He's got a lot of credibility, great resume, and I think he's going to be able to navigate the process with a lot of strength.
And Kyle, as you mentioned, a federal judge recently blocked parts of the IRS settlement with Trump and sharply criticized Blanche for his role in it, including the creation of that anti-weaponization fund. Setting that aside, though, what other issue do you see as the biggest potential roadblock to his confirmation?
Well, there's a lot of business that was left on the table when Pam Bondi left. She, in the public's eye, really didn't complete the job that she was tasked to do. And I think the Epstein files are still a looming question for a lot of Americans, particularly voters. They want to see some of the trash taken out, some of these issues cleaned up, T's crossed and I's dotted. And so I think that not only does Todd Blanche have a full docket in front of him, he has a cleanup job to do from the last AG. And but everyone's learned, are taking that experience and walking into this new season for the office, and for the whole DOJ and all investigative and justice departments with fresh eyes, but also a lot of wisdom packed in there as well. So again, I think he's going to do really well. I think he's going in with eyes wide open and not going to make some of the same mistakes of the past year that were made.
And President Trump posted on Truth Social today praising Blanche's work as acting attorney general and urging every Republican senator to vote for his confirmation. Do you think Trump's public rallying call will help push that across the finish line?
I do. Even with some of the drama that's been happening recently, Donald Trump's endorsement carries a lot of weight. Whoever he taps, it kind of turns to gold. And so I do think that the Senate particularly wants to make sure that they have someone in their corner in this position and someone who can kind of be a bridge essentially to the executive. So I do think it matters. I think it carries a lot of weight and it's going to help. Sadly, losing Lindsey Graham was something that I think rocked the entire political world, and people are still recovering from that. I don't think anyone's got the stomach for a real big fight right now over this. And maybe that's just wishful thinking. I hope not. I hope to see a smooth confirmation process going forward.
And on that note, how do you expect Blanche to handle what's sure to be a very aggressive pushback from Democrats during these hearings?
Yeah, I don't think he's worried about it. From what we've seen already, he has kind of dismantled them with ease. He doesn't suffer fools lightly, this one. So again, we've seen enough to know what's coming down the pike, and I think he's going to just be able to walk through this with strength, with confidence, great experience, strong resume, and be able to sail through pretty easily. But it's always fun to watch, right? It makes for some good television. So we're looking forward to watching the hearings.
And to your earlier point, if confirmed, what would you expect Blanche's top priorities or agenda to be as Attorney General over the next few years?
We're in an interesting time where we're still walking through a season of lawfare, of injustice based on what side of the aisle you're on. Todd Blanche will also be serving a president who has a hefty agenda. He is ripping through his to do list. And, it brings up a lot of legal questions, just like, again, the anti weaponization fund. That one's a real legal tangle. They want to try to separate Donald Trump, the man, from Donald Trump, the president, when you've had someone serving as POTUS in two non consecutive terms, and they're tripping all over themselves doing it. So you need a very strong, sharp AG who can cut through all of that legal jumble when you have Obama appointed judges coming at you to try to take you down on every single move that you make. So we're hopeful that Blanche will be that for President Trump. He needs an ally here and someone who is able to make the case and argue the law in favor of the president's actions. So he's needed more than ever and he's needed quickly. And I think President Trump's going to put him right to work.
Well, Kyle Campbell, as always, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Tiffany.